All right, CSS battle time, and we have guy wearing sunglasses. Kind of cool. But there's a lot of parts to this. So how are we going to approach it? Because, we have this element here, the nose, and then we have the sunglasses going, and then the whole border. This looks like an even border around, so I'm really tempted to use border for that. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do border, 60? I'm going to put the border down first, just because I kind of want to see what it looks like when the body is margined down. Okay, so that's the smallest size it can get with that border. And I was kind of hoping it would look more like this, but I'm guessing that is like 80 pixels across, so 60 to 160, so it's 100. So maybe 50 pixels across. So, even if I turn this up, it's just going to cause overflow. We're not going to ever get that shape from just the border. Now, I don't mind the border on the body. I mean the HTML. So let's put a background of this on here. Just get something on paper for right now. Let's change this to an and, so we're not fighting that. Okay. So here's a thought. Could I do a conic gradient on the background to make the nose, right? And just make it do one, no repeat conic gradient. I feel like I can. And then I would need to, then I'd have to do I could do a conic gradient for the sunglasses too, where the body could be this right here and just be another conic gradient. That's a lot of gradients to write. The other way to look at this is if this big square is the HTML, and then this block is just something else. I mean, we could have an inset box shadow to make, have the blue be the inset box shadow to make this. That would actually be pretty easy to do. Yeah, that would be real simple to do. I mean, we could just make this border a box shadow as well, and then add some margin. And then we have a brown square, a blue square, and then the yellow. And then the body would have a conic gradient. I would have to have the background for the brown square there, though. I do have to write background for that. I don't think the box shadow way. It's just how many times do I have to write these colors? See, with the border, I have to undo border or exclude it or separate it somehow. But that's actually pretty easy because I can just have the HTML separate and then the body. So do I want to do two conic gradients, or do I want to chase the box shadow and conic gradient? And I think, because I don't really have time to do both, so I got to kind of just guess ahead of time, make the best use of the time that I have while solving this. All right. I'm going to go the conic gradient route. If you go the box shadow route, let me know how that goes. But I think I'm just going to have more fun with conic gradients today. Sometimes that's what it comes down to, because this is a game. This is supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun doing it, maybe it's not your game, but more than likely, or not more than likely, it's possible that you're playing it wrong. All right. So I think actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a background. Why is it not taking that background? Okay, oh, conic gradient is messing it up. So we're going to do that, 25%, and then we're going to go to, what did I did light? Yeah, and then we're going to go dark blue to 75 for the rest. Right? So you can already see it's this shape here. Yeah, let's move it over, get the right shape, and then move it back. You know, we got to make our image first and then move it into place. I think I'm going to have to use a fixed or something like that to get this to not repeat, but it should work out. So we're going to go like 200 pixels over because what I'm trying to make is this blue cutout here is what I want to make, and then the width of the gradient is going to be what gives us this here, I believe. That's the theory. Timber showed up. All right, 240. That looks pretty close. It should be pretty easy to tweak this afterwards because we know what we're changing. 100. 150. Nope. 140. 130. Looks about right. I kind of... Oh. Yeah, that looks just about right. 130. I don't like those numbers. I mean, theoretically, I could move this up to like 120 and then just shift it down over here, right? Gradient position. We're going to move it. Let's go 100 pixels. 120, 130, 140, 160, 80, 200. Okay? And then we move it down 10 pixels. Oh, 5 pixels. Right? Because we're going to end up covering... Did I do it backwards? Wait. One last thing. Fix does not work. Space. Space also doesn't work. Ooh, I'm doing this like completely backwards. Am I? Am I doing it completely backwards? Let's go negative 200. There we are. Okay. 100. All right. That's not working. I see why it's not working. Okay. All right. I think I understand. Oh. We've just positioned it. We haven't given it a size yet. So of course it's not going to work. Let's go 100 pixels wide by 200 tall. No? 100? That's not changing anything. 150. I broke everything. What is going on? All right. Oh, my positioning. I need to go back to this 200 where I had it. Not 2,200. Let's not be 10. Let's go 100, 150. Okay. We can get this. I am confident. 160, 170, 180, 190. Negative 200. Let's take off the space. Okay. Excellent. Let's back things up. Okay. So that is our image. Okay. So if I hit 0, 0 and hit a slash, and give it 100 pixel width, that's what ends up repeating. We don't get any repeat. Okay. Because I shoved it all the way over at 240. So I have to be like 260. We start seeing the repeat. Okay, but we're not getting the repeat like I wanted. All right. I need to reframe how I think about this conic gradient. That's my problem. I always move them up to the top left corner and then shift them back down. That's usually how I've always done it, but because of this color combination, I was trying to do it the other way around. just so I don't have to do a from degrees count. But do I need to reframe how this gradient fits? Because, okay, I want this to be the 25% and that to be the 75%, right? And I want to have it floating in space. But I don't think... All right. Yeah, okay. All right. That is progress. We can determine where it repeats at on the vertical, which is cool. That's really great. All right. And then, we have to move it down those 5 pixels, because of the decision to make this a 120. And then that would be 150. I'm okay with this. Now, our width, I only actually want it to be, okay, can we walk this back 50 pixels? It should loop through. All right, let's open up the diff. Our border's not even right. I didn't even check the border. It's not right. That's some margin up here, like that's something we can fix. Okay, what am I looking at again? I'm looking at that repeating. Let's walk it into place and then set our 80, okay, 150, 200, right? So we have it actually in place at 200 pixels. That's where it belongs. Our width here, 240, 280, 300. Okay, if we start expanding, let's say 500, 600. Okay, let's go to 5 because that's more than enough. Okay, all right, we're getting these blocks, and it's not the kind of block that I want, right? So you see that big block of blue, we walk it through, and then we get it back through. It doesn't ever repeat back to the light blue. I'm not getting this back edge, except way really far across it. All right. And that's why I put this light blue at the beginning so that, okay. Wait. That's where that is breaking it all. Good. I like breaking it. Let's go back to 200. Let's get it back in there. Let's go to 280 where we can see something, and then let's see what space does to this. Okay. All right. Let's go 150, 180. Okay. I think I'm actually starting to understand this. Let's see. Let's put this back to 0. Yeah, okay. I do have this completely backwards. And it's this right here. We need to make that image. And then we don't want our width to be like that. We want it, no, 150 is fine. 160 is fine. We want it to be 50, 60. And instead of space, let's say fixed. No, I guess I have to do no repeat. Wow. Should have gone with block shadows. Let's position it now. 200. Nope. 150. I think I'm fairly confident I can manipulate this now. The height is gonna have to be 150. The width is gonna be 70. There we go. Okay, and this spot sticking out at the top, that doesn't matter at all. it's this 5 pixels here. If I can make that a 0, then I can, you know, but that means this has to be 125. And then the vertical has to be 155. So these won't reduce down nearly as much. So let's go back to 150. Let's put in the 5 pixels, and let's do the 120. And I think at the end of the day, the reductions I can do on these will save for the extra, even if I can't make this a Q, it'll save for the extra character, really, is all it is, because I'm going to need the 0 there. The no repeat, that's the costly part of this. I mean, among other things that are costly. All right. I did it! Let's see if we can do that on the body now. Here I said I'd have more fun with conic gradients. No, let's not do it on the body. Let's get our margins right on the... Oh, no. When I margin this, everything's going to move. Okay. That's really silly. Okay, so I think this could actually be 50. Okay. All right, so it's 55, which is a real bummer. Okay, so now that we got everything messed up again, we need to, let's see if we can just get this with positioning. Oh man, 130. Lame. All right, since that has to be 10, I could do 110 over there, but that's really the only difference. I'm gonna leave it. I will leave it. Let's now address our body. 2 pixels solid. Right? That's our body. We're gonna need margin to be 0 on top, 10 on the sides. There we go. 50, 80, 90 on the bottom. There we go. Okay, now that I have it to size, this conic gradient should be fairly straightforward. What it's going to be is, I have to do a degrees. I might have to do a from. And the other option is to do 25% the brown, because it starts at 12 o'clock position. So you're going around. So 25% brown, blue, and then back to brown. So I can do a third color stop, or I can say from 90 degrees, 25% brown, right? And I think that's the better way to do it. So let's hit a background. Let's keep the cursor where we want it. And hit a conic gradient. And let's say from 90 degrees. We'll do the at afterwards. You can string together a few different prefixes on these gradients. Let's see if this renders. I think I have the syntax proper. But actually we're going to go transparent. We're not going to do the blue. 4 for 25%, and then we're going to go brown. 0. It rendered. Happy day. Let's move it into place and then set the repeat. So from at 150 pixels, if I type it properly, that's too far. Let's go 100. Okay, that's good. And 20 pixels, 30. All right, let us make the size 0, 0 to not mess up our positioning any. And then it's going to be like 150 across, 140, 130, oh no, I was too small. There we go, 180. Love it when a plan comes together. There's that weird little pop out right there on the sides that the conic gradient is doing, but I see it in my screen right here, but it's not showing in the diff. Let's just see if there's anything messing up with this. But right now we have a pretty cool guy with sunglasses on. All right, there we are. All right, let's reduce some. Some of these will reduce. That's 10M, right? No? Is that not 10M? What? That's the 160 is 10M. Duh. 180, we can do VW units. 45 VW. All right, same difference. There we go. 100 pixels is going to be 25 VW because every 20 pixels is 5 VW. 30 pixels, we'll have to come back to that one because it's Q units. 150 is 50 VH because that is half of the viewport height. 40 pixels is 5 CH. 120 is going to be 30 VW. None of these do I know off the top of my head. 130, 10, 70. Let's see if, let's just do one at a time with Q. And this is where it gets tedious. Skip to the end. You know the drill. Yeah. That's all I'm doing until the end. I don't think I'm going to have any other. Let's check 31. Insights, you know. 99.9, of course. 32. Check it. Of course, each one we do kind of pulls it further and further from. Hey, it took it. It took it. I'm going to check, see if I need this X second 0. I don't. Let's hit the submit again. Usually sometimes you do. Sometimes it messes up your positioning you're at and everything like that, but apparently that time it didn't. Probably because I haven't moved it. I don't need to move it down. I'm not repeating down. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's because I'm not having any vertical repeats that's why it's not needed. That's a theory. We'll find out. I just end up testing it in later ones. All right, 10 pixels. Let's see. Q. Well, nothing pops out at me there. .9. All right, let's try 11. And if that doesn't work, we'll go back to 10 pixels and then try that 70 and 130. And that's oh, and the 55 pixel border. Of course, yes, that worked. Every one that works is, you know, another character. 73, 74, 75. Let's see if 75 works, and then we'll try 74 after that. .9. Let's try 74. Just a long process if you want to save as many characters as you can. All right, 74 worked. At least this is like every single one is having something that works, you know? Like that is gratifying. Okay, 136, 7, 8. Ooh, that looks even more perfect than before. Get excited about saving a character. It's the simple things. 55. Yeah, okay. Ooh, that looks... The diff just keeps getting like cleaner and cleaner. I feel like sometimes now some of these solutions fit better with the Q units. Ooh, something we can do. This is the last one in here. Let's take that out. Let's put it there with a space. And I think we're net even because I had to add a space here. So that would probably help with if I had the type of gradient where I didn't have to have some. No, that's net neutral. Net neutral change right there, but you can do that. It'll still read, the shorthand will still read the same. And then if your gradient is the very last thing in your code or a selector with a closing bracket, you can take the last parentheses off. The browser will close it for you. So 232, not ideal. I don't think that's the best bit of code. I think box shadows would have gotten you pretty doggone far. because I mean, even the box shadow inset could have worked for the brown, and you could even do box shadow inset for, you know, a square that's blue, and then you'd have to do two inset box shadows to get this dark blue pattern and then blue coming across. But you could do everything with box shadow. You could literally do, I think, a solid box shadow solution. It's just you'd have to put the colors in for each box shadow, which would get kind of verbose. I think the only one that would end up duplicating is these. So, yeah. Actually, maybe you make it the element this big for the body, and it's an inset box shadow to make the dark blue, and then that box shadow to make the light blue. And I probably would do a background of. Oh yeah, I can't. You doing the background of light blue wouldn't save you because on this one the light blue is the inset box shadow. So I think I might end up just doing a couple like there'd be 1, 2, 3 box shadows to make all of these, and that would get the color property. Save it. So I don't know, crazy stuff. That was fun. Cool design. I hope you're having fun with it too, and I will catch you later.